Hi, I'm Steve and welcome to my kitchen. Today I would like to show you how to make no-knead baguettes using the turbo method. The bread will be ready to bake in 2.5 hours. But before we start, I'd like to make one point. Bread recipes typically tell you to proof the dough until it doubles in size. The problem is, that can take 1.5 hours to 4 hours, which makes it difficult to plan. What I'm going to do is show you how to create a favorable proofing environment so that your bread will be ready in 1.5 hours so that you can plan your day. I'll be using 13 ounces warm water, 1 1/2 teaspoons salt, 1 1/4 teaspoons instant yeast, and 3 1/2 cups bread flour. Proofing tip 1. Use warm water and don't use a cold mixing bowl. It will cool the water rapidly and get the proofing off to a slow start. Let's get started. First, I make sure that my bowl is warm. Then it is 13 ounces warm tap water, 1 1/2 teaspoons salt, 1/4 teaspoon instant yeast, and I'll give it a quick stir to combine. Three and a half cups bread flour. I'll start with a 1/2 cup. And I'll stir to combine. Note that I'm using the handle end of a spoon. All I'm trying to do is hydrate the flour. And introducing the water to the flour, watch how it comes together. Starting to come together, I'm going to start rolling it a bit. That's to try to get the flour off the sides. I'll scrape the side of the bowl. We'll get that last bit of flour into the bowl. And I'll finish combining it. And there we go. I covered the dough with plastic wrap and it's ready to proof. Proofing tip number 2. The ideal temperature for proofing is 78 to 85 degrees, but the typical home is 68 to 72 degrees. So I'm going to use the oven light method for proofing. Turn the oven light on, put the dough in the oven, close the door, and the oven light will warm the oven to a little over 80 degrees, which will give a warm, draft-free environment for proofing, and the dough will be ready in 1 1/2 hours. Turbo dough should be proofed for 1 hour and 30 minutes in a warm, draft-free environment. The dough has proofed for 1 hour and 30 minutes. It's time to make the baguettes. The dough has risen and more than doubled in size. Normally, you would punch dough down at this time, but no-knead bread, I prefer a technique called Degas pull and stretch. Next step is I'm going to dust it with flour when it's still in the bowl. This technique is called roll to coat. Dust it with a little more flour. A little flour under it. And notice how much easier it is to handle right now. I'm going to divide it into thirds. I'll push 2 of these off to the side. Anytime you have wet, just add a little flour. And notice how all of a sudden it's very easy to manipulate. Okay, I'm going to put that off to the side. See it's sticking a little, add a little flour. and all of a sudden it's better. I'm going to let it rest for 10 minutes.
The dough is rested 10 minutes.
The baguettes have rested for 10 minutes. What that does, it makes it easier to shape them. The first thing I need to do is spray the tray with no-stick spray. I'll dust the workspace with a little flour. There, see how easy that was to shape now? And over into the tray. I want them to be about 16 inches long. I'll cover them with a lint-free towel to proof, and we're set to go.
No-Knead turbo dough should be proofed for 30 minutes and the oven should be preheated to 450 degrees. The oven has come to temperature. I place the baguettes in the oven and I set the timer for 20 minutes. Baguettes should be baked for 20 minutes at 450 degrees.
While we're waiting for the bread to bake, I'd like to make an important point. When I developed No-Knead turbo bread, I decided to use 1 1/4 teaspoons yeast versus the typical 2 1/4, about 1/2. I didn't want to juice the dough up with a lot of yeast. I wanted to use soundproofing technique to develop a favorable proofing environment, which would in turn develop a nice natural flavor, which is why No-Knead turbo bread has such a wonderful artisan flavor.
It's been 20 minutes and the baguettes are ready.
Well, take a look at these. They're beautiful.
For quick and easy access to No-Knead bread videos and cookbooks, go to no-kneadbreadcentral.com. Thanks for watching.